Hello and welcome to Gulf News Straight Bat. I'm joined by our Gulf News cricket experts Shyam and Satish to discuss today's game. It was a Group 1 affair with defending champions Australia taking on the plucky Irish. We knew beforehand that a win for either team would move them to the top two of the table, while the loser would struggle potentially to reach the semi-final stage. In the end, it was Australia who won by a convincing 42 runs. It means that their World Cup is back on track after that heavy defeat that they suffered in their very first game. Shyam, what did you make of that performance today?
In fact, Australia performed as expected, but I was surprised by Ireland's fight back because chasing 179, they were 25 for 5. I didn't expect them to cross 100 at that stage. In fact, that Lorcan Tucker's innings of 71 is amazing. I mean, I was really floored by the courage he's shown to take on, especially people like Stark, who had gone, who had taken 2 wickets in the same over. In fact, that particular over, he was swinging, he was bowling swinging or Yorkers, and I found the earlier Irish batsmen finding it very difficult to handle. So from that stage to reach where they reached finally was they managed something like 137 was very remarkable. But from Australia's point of view, clinical performance, but I think they need to bowl better, definitely much more than that, because from 25 for 5, you let a side like Ireland get away. I wonder what some of the better sides like England or South Africa or India would do to them.
Satish, it was a really plucky display, wasn't it, from the island, considering, what they had, what the task was, and considering the way they collapsed, in the very early stages, they were, I think, 25 for 5 at one stage. But then, as Shyam rightly says, Loughran came in and he really gave it a good go. And if they didn't lose maybe 1 or 2 wickets that early on, possibly we may have seen a very closer game. I think Australia were always going to win, but maybe by not such a convincing margin.
Imran, I think that's where the inexperience of Ireland showed. Actually, if you look at, they probably played the same way against India when India toured Ireland. They were going after the bowling, and somebody like Umran Malik was hit very badly. That's why you don't see Umran Malik today in the Indian side. He was thrashed so badly. So they played this brand of cricket, but what has happened is I think if they had showed a little bit of patience, maybe instead of going all out against the bowlers, if they had waited for the bad balls, because there were a lot of bad balls coming in, and with the field restrictions in, these guys could hit the ball quite well and they were playing quite well. But I don't know what the reason was. Maybe they didn't want the 8 runs and over to be there after a 10-over margin. I don't know, maybe they wanted to bring it down. I think they showed a lot of urgency, which was not required, especially when they were timing the ball very well. Yes, you can play a very bold, positive brand of cricket. That's one way of looking at it. But positive doesn't mean recklessness. So they were playing a bit, the early batsmen, they were playing a bit reckless. The first ball of Maxwell, they tried to hit him over the head. I think the last ball, again, it was not a close ball. I think that was the first ball of Tucker. So not Tucker. I think it was the other batsman
First Sterling and second was Tector.
Actually, Tector, if you look at, he played very well against India. He was one of those who did well. So
actually, Tector was unlucky because it was a ranked bad ball. It's a short ball, and he pulled it straight to substitute Smith.
It was not so short, Sham. Like it was just it was in between short and close. So he played that full shot. That's why he didn't get that elevation. So if he had flicked it, maybe it would have gone overhead. So these are some of the elementary mistakes that comes in because of the lack of experience. But it was an extremely good performance. That's one good thing with Ireland. One of them, they stand up and then they take the game deeper. But yes, if another person would have stayed, maybe the margin could have been even more smaller, and they could have probably finished the quota of overs, because still Ireland had about another, let's say 10 balls, about 10, 11 balls.
Nearly 2 overs.
Yeah, nearly 2 overs remaining. So that could have been a lot better at that point of time. That 2 overs, another 20, 30 runs could have brought the margin down, which could have given them the confidence.
Yeah, guys, let's start from the start. It was a lovely start from skipper Aaron Finch, who returned to form. I would say he got 63 off 44 balls. It was a solid knock by him. It was a slow start, but he laid down the foundations for that win, didn't he?
Imran, if you look, Imran or me?
Go ahead.
You go ahead, Satish.
No, I think what has happened is again this is where Ireland's lack of experience showed in the bowling as well. When Finch was struggling, I think that's a time when Stoinis came in. He started hitting, and they also bowled bad balls to Finch, which he fed on and started hitting at that point of time. So, but it was a welcome knock for Finch because you have to keep. Spend more time at the wicket, only then you will get your confidence back. Going forward, it might help Finch, but it is not one of his best knocks. That's my view.
And Shyam, were you impressed with Barry McCarthy? He took 3 wickets for 29 runs. He did pretty well, but on the other hand, Mark Adair, I've just seen the stats, and no wickets and 59 runs. Poor guy. It wasn't his day today.
No, he was taken to the cleaners, really. McCarthy impressed, and so did Josh Little. Every match I see him, Josh Little has been very, very impressed. Only thing he didn't get enough movement like he got the other day against England, but he turned out to be a tricky customer, not just with the new ball. He came later in the innings as well. And if you look at, I was looking at, I actually, from the 14th onwards, I started tracking their scoring. Because from 17th onwards, they started to pull the match back in. Because at one point, it looked like they might go over 200. That's when they pulled back. 17th over went for 10 runs. 18th over went for 3 runs. 19th over was 4 runs. And of course, the last one was leaked. 17 runs was leaked off the last over. But those 3 overs in the slog actually pulled them back in. So which means Ireland really bowled well, but like I said, they could have done better. But I thought they bowled much better than I expected, because Marsh threatened to take the match away. That's when McCarthy struck. Then Maxwell, of course, has played one of his Mad Max innings, but Stoinis also was pretty much kept in, because he was not able to free his arm much like he did against the Sri Lankans. Although he did well to score 35. But as far as Finch is concerned, our last 2 matches he's been scratchy, but he's getting runs. So he's running into some kind of form. Like Satish said, it may not be his best innings, but considering where he was, he's come a long way. And I think in the coming matches, you would see a better version of him.
Guys, I think we always had a feeling that Australia playing at the Gabba, we're going to win this one. You know, they've played in the last 6 T20 internationals. I think they've won 5 and only lost once. So we knew it was going to be a tall order for the Irish, who gave it a good go. But just speaking a little about the Ireland team, you know, they've played a lot against the likes of Afghanistan and Bangladesh, and they've been improving quite a lot, haven't they, overall? Satish, what do you think?
That's see, now at the end of it, they are a test playing nation, not on the top level test playing nation. They are a test playing nation. So their chances are much better than some of the associate nations, which say, for example, Namibia or even Netherlands. These are the guys, or UAE, they are not getting as many chances. But as a test playing nation, there is a future test program. There is a international calendar where you keep playing these international matches, whether it is T20, 50 overs test. So this is bound to help Ireland a great deal in the years to come, and they have the talent. They have some very good talent. And other advantage with Ireland is they could play and play the counties, which will help them to get those wonderful experience, which is nothing, because experience in the sense you will be in different situations. You find different ways to come out of it. You will face different bowlers, different conditions. These are all very important in the international level.
And Shyam, we saw Adam Zampa return to the team after his bout of COVID. We talked about this earlier. We were wondering how he's going to be, how badly he had it. I think we all knew that he wasn't suffering as badly. But what did you make of his performances today? 4 overs, no wickets. I think he took. I think he cost 29 runs, I believe. How do you think he looked in terms of his physical abilities? And do you think he was struggling at all?
No, not at all. Not at all. Actually, you wouldn't think that he is coming off COVID because he was spot on with the ball. And if you look at his first dismissal was of Fionn Hand. No, so it was of Adair. In fact, that was the classic leg spinner's dismissal, stumped by the wicketkeeper Adam Wade, who himself, I mean Matthew Wade, who himself was came off a bout of COVID. But at no point did Sampa look like he was struggling, nor was he struggling to find the length. He was bowling the wrong ones. He was bowling his leg breaks. He was himself actually.
And Satish, Maxwell survived a couple of LBWs. We know he can hit big once he gets going. He didn't do very well today. I think he was out for something like 13. How disappointed will he be not to be amongst the runs today?
I think Maxwell's role has been stipulated in such a way, Imran. I think what has happened is the team must be trying to rally around Finch because they know that Finch is not able to hit. So they must have given the freedom to play, take his time, get set, so he can go at a much lower pace. Whereas Warner, Marsh, Maxwell, Stoinis, maybe like those who are coming on the other side, they must be trying their best to increase the run rate, maybe 200, 300 strike rate. That's how they must be targeting. So in that sense, I think Maxwell must be trying to play his role. I don't think there is any problem in that sense because, again, this is the brand of cricket, not just Maxwell, the entire Australian team plays. So they try to go on the offensive right from the start and they never take the foot off the gas. So that's the approach, the all-out approach they have been adopting, which will help them because they know the conditions very well. It's just a matter of time. If maybe Maxwell played only 9 balls today, he's not had a great run in this World Cup so far. But these are players who don't go by form. They go by the day. So it could be his day, any one of the days where he will turn the match around on his own. So his form is not a big worry. And again, he's got 2 wickets with his off spin. So, and he's got a catch. I think 2 catches he got. So in that sense, as a T20 game, you have to be a bits and pieces player. 20 runs, 25 runs, quick 20, 25 runs, couple of wickets, a couple of runouts, catches, and you are the star of the day.
And Shyam, in this World Cup, we've seen some tremendous fielding. Players doing really well to stop boundaries, to stop sixes. Lots of good catches. I think we must talk about Barry McCarthy's acrobatics today on the boundary when Stoinis absolutely bludgeoned the ball. It was heading for a 6 all the way. Some people would say it was a drop catch. Of course it wasn't. We know the difference. I mean, he'd done so well to stop it, and then so well, for the presence of mind to realize he's behind the boundary, and then to toss the ball into safety. Just talk about how good that was by Barry.
Actually, that was an incredible effort because he was when he reached the ball, he was flying backwards. That means he's totally lost control of his body. And despite that, in mid-flight, he managed to push the ball back. Absolutely acrobatic effect. But I wonder whether those kind of efforts are really called for because he could have been easily injured. He could have even had a very life-changing injury as well. Because when you are in the mid-air and trying to throw the ball, all your energies and all your focus is on trying to get the ball back in, which means you are not trying to break your fall. And like I said, he fell on the cushions, which actually helped him, but it took the wind out of him. So he took a while to recover. That could have been a bad injury as well. So I wonder whether those kind of efforts are absolutely necessary.
And Satish, speaking of injuries, I think we saw the Captain Finch hobbling off with a bit of a hamstring pull. If he is going to be missing any of the upcoming matches, how big a blow would that be for Australia?
I don't think it would have because the way he walked off and the way he came back to the press conference, I don't think there is anything big because again, he is also aging. So obviously when after batting for so long in these testing conditions, there could be a little odd pull here, there. It looks like a bit of a niggle. I think by the time they play the next game, he should be fit. I think that's where he is. Maybe I think maybe he'll go for a scan tomorrow, but I don't see any problems. But again, having said that, Australia has got enough firepower in their bank, in that sense, easily they will be able to fill in the role because some of the guys later order batsmen like I think Green had a very good series against India as an opener, but he has not been playing. He has not played a single game so far. So in that sense, I think they have the firepower to come back and replace him. That should not be an issue.
Okay, guys. So well done to Australia for getting the World Cup back on track. There's two games.
Imran,
there's two games tomorrow.
Imran, just to add to
Yes,
that McCarthy's catch, I also think when players attempt these catches, they don't even realize that they are going for it, simply because it's the adrenaline which they have, which makes you do this kind of thing. So you're completely carried away by the moment, that particular moment in the game. So you are not looking about your safety or the injury or anything at all. You just want to get the catch. You want to get the ball back in. I think there lies the danger as well as the thrill.
Yeah, no, I think we all credit him for doing for giving us all a fantastic moment. It'll go down as one of the best pieces of fielding. Like I've said, we've seen plenty of this. We've seen plenty of this in a tournament. But well done to the Australians. There's hopefully two games tomorrow. Depending on the weather, the forecast doesn't look too good at the moment. We could have another washout. We've got Afghanistan playing Sri Lanka and England against New Zealand. How do you think Afghanistan, Sri Lanka will go, Shyam?
Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, it's difficult to predict. I would expect Sri Lanka to win, but then Afghanistan are no pushovers because they got a three-man spin attack. But on Australia, what we have seen is spin has not been so great. But Rashid Khan, on any given wicket, he can be quite a handful. But I think Sri Lanka has it in them to tide over Afghanistan.
Satish, who do you think is going to win tomorrow between those two?
I think Sri Lanka will have a chance to avenge their loss to Afghanistan in Dubai here, because that was the first game after a long time. So I'm sure they will have that in their mind because they were literally thrashed by Afghanistan in the first game, which they subsequently pulled themselves up and then went on to beat India, Pakistan en route to the Asia Cup title. So I'm sure they will be very pumped up to play against Afghanistan tomorrow. But as you said, there is a 100% chance of a rain tomorrow. That's what the weather report says, weather forecast says. But I'm more worried about the next game, which is between England and New Zealand. That's a cracker of a game. Now, if you look at the table of Group 1, all three teams are on 5 points. New Zealand is on 5 points, Australia is on 5 points, and England is on 3 points. So, should
England has one game in hand.
Yeah, but both New Zealand and England have a game in hand, which they are playing tomorrow. Should England win tomorrow, then all three teams will be on 5 points. That's
absolutely
even more interesting. And in that sense, if Sri Lanka or Afghanistan win, they are just 1 point behind. So it's becoming very close. As expected, the group of death is becoming extremely close. So I hope the rain doesn't spoil this party.
Just speaking of England, I mean, they'll be desperate for that win after all, losing like they did to the Irish because of the rain, and then having their next game completely washed out. We were all looking forward to that Ashes clash between England and Australia. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So it just makes their game tomorrow even more important for them to get to get the win. Shyam, do you think Satish has had to say on England? What do you think England will do tomorrow?
I mean, very difficult to say, simply because New Zealand New Zealand are more familiar with these conditions because because of transnational rivalry. They are familiar with the conditions in Australia more than England. But having said that, to me, England is the strongest side in the competition. So I would think they should be able to defeat New Zealand.
All right, we'll see. Well, fingers crossed. We've got both our fingers crossed that there's no rain tomorrow and we get some action. And we'll be back forward to see how tomorrow's games get on. In the meantime, head to golfnews.com for all the latest news, the reviews, the videos, and everything else. And also check out all our social media channels. Thanks to Shyam and thanks to Satish, and we will see you again soon.